Ruth, do you think that companies like BP and Shell should be paying some of their profits to help UK homeowners and bills payers?
They absolutely should. First of all, we desperately need it because people are dying because they can't heat their homes, and they have it. They have plenty of money. Secondly, we've been subsidizing them for years. Taxes have worked in the negative for these big North Sea oil giants. We've been subsidizing their decommissioning. That's part of their job. They've had tax breaks on top of tax breaks, so that instead of actually paying into the coffers of the government to make possible the help that people need and make possible the transition to renewable energy that we so desperately need, instead of that, the British public has been paying them, and they've been paying out to their shareholders and paying to further invest in fossil fuels that are actually destroying the climate. And I think you just have to look at what Norway's done, because, in Norway, the state has been getting $21 a barrel for the oil that they get out of the North Sea. In the UK, they've been getting $1.72. 72 cents. And, that shows how little the UK has actually been benefiting from an industry that we've been subsidizing at our own cost.
That sounds like a very obvious and simple solution, and one that I think most people sitting at home would happily be applauding. But it's a bit more complex than that, isn't it? Because when we look at the people who are in fuel poverty, it's usually pensioners who are having to choose between heating and eating. And you rightfully say that there are people out there actually losing their lives and falling into ill health as a result of this. But also, is it not pensions that are being gold-plated and shored up by the profits of these big energy companies, and actually throwing on a windfall tax, especially when we're going through this transition period into a carbon neutral future, could actually be far more injurious, and it's not that simple.
They always trot out the pension funds and they always trot out jobs. But in fact, a huge proportion of the money that these companies make is actually going overseas. It's not even going to anybody here, even the shareholders here. And as far as the jobs are concerned, there's no reason why jobs couldn't be built up. They were being built up in renewable energy and in insulating homes. What could be more obvious than the need to make sure that we're not heating the streets with this really expensive fuel that we have? What could be more obvious than to be sure that people can get their homes fixed, can get repairs done, can get the insulation put in so that we can actually stay warm, save money, save lives, and yet the jobs for that are not being created. And instead, we have jobs doing something which, frankly, everybody knows that climate change is really serious now. The floods, the extreme weather, droughts, the food prices, all the effects that we're suffering now. We cannot go down the road of continuing to subsidize these giants